In today's video, I'm redoing my power system again. Oh man. So if you've been following me for a little while, the smart thing that I did at the very start of this, I think it was the first video I did, was I was like, I'm gonna pre-do my power system in my apartment before I move in so I can get everything straightened out beforehand. Since then, I've rejigged my power system a couple of times. I have no idea on electrical. I'm learning, but I still have no real clue what I'm doing. I'm redoing my power system again because I'm going to increase the battery capacity that I have. I'm going to double it. Now I've got air conditioning and that pulls a lot of power. That's why I wanted to increase my battery capacity. But also, in Houston at least, there can be days when it's hot but not sunny. So I'm using the air conditioner to remove the heat, but I'm not topping up my power back up. So my power is just gradually getting lower and lower, being used up by the air conditioner. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add shore power to my truck. For those of you who don't know, shore power is literally just plugging into the grid. So shore power is at like RV parks and stuff where they give you a big fucking plug to jam into the side of your RV. And I've had a shore power inlet input for, I think it was one of the first things that I bought. And I bought it because I thought that I wouldn't be allowed to ever park at an RV park without one. So I bought it, forgot about it. So that's my explanation. There are the two main things that I need to do. The third main thing is I'm increasing my battery capacity. I have to move the batteries to somewhere else. So I'm moving them under into my sofa so that they can all be together. Now that the batteries have to move, my inverter can go back to next to the DC circuits. That means I can have everything. That means I can have the inverter and the DC circuits in one place. It frees up one part of my desk. And yeah, so that means that there'll be less cables trailing around where my feet are and stuff like that. So they're the three main things I'm going to do. Increase my battery capacity, add shore power, and move my inverter. So this is probably going to be filmed over multiple days. You're going to see my truck at its absolute worst for sure. So this is probably going to be my most chaotic video, I imagine. I'm going to try and keep the impact on me and my life as little as possible, which is why I'm pacing this out over multiple days. Bear with me if I don't talk to camera that much and it's mainly voiceover, but I will talk about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and exactly what's going on. So let's go. So in this instance, what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out where is best to put the bus bars. So I try to put them on the sides first, and having the batteries, I'm trying to figure out the length of the cable that needs to be done for the batteries, and it's not very efficient doing it this way. So this is me measuring away, trying to figure out what is the shortest cable run that I can possibly do for these. And I realized that having the bus bars in the middle by all of the contacts of the batteries is going to be better. So I put them on this little joist here, this little joint. And then I realized that I need to raise the whole thing up. So I had to pull the bench out, raise it up, and screw this back in so that it's above the batteries. That way I can slide the batteries in underneath and have enough space for the cable to attach to them as well. So that's what I decided on here. And that's what I'm doing, is just making sure that everything's fit in. And then I'm still screwing around, trying to make sure that I use an optimal amount of cable. And I realized that moving these 2 inches towards the middle is going to be optimal for the batteries themselves. So that's what I'm doing. Now what I have to do here is I have to drill a little hole, a very messy, terrible hole, to feed the cables through from to and from my DC circuit. So that's what I do here, is feed the positive and negative cable through, as well as my cable for my AC. So that is what I'm doing, is attaching all of the cabling to the bus bars of my DC circuits. Then I have to
undo my shunt and attach my AT unit directly to the bus bars of my DC circuitry. And then finally drilling a hole into my sofa and putting those final cables through towards the batteries.
I don't know how these videos are going to turn out in terms of redoing my power system, but today I am going to tackle adding shore power to my truck. In theory, woo, it's warm. In theory, what I'm looking to do is drill a hole into the truck, wire up the shore power plug, screw it in, seal it, and lock it in into the truck. That's what I'm looking to do. In theory, that's what I'm going to do today. If you follow me for a while, you'll know that it's never as simple as it looks like it's going to be. But I have a good maybe 4 hours to do this and to take my time and get it right. So I'm house sitting, and I am charging up each of my batteries to full capacity at the house, and then bringing them back so that I have fully charged batteries, so that when I come to equalize them, they're all around the same voltage. I'm going to move my truck 6 inches to the right so I have more room for my shore power, and I'm going to just crack on. And for those of you who don't know, I'm in Houston, Texas, so the weather is currently 95, but the feels like number is 105. 50% humidity. So I'm also trying to do this as quickly as I possibly can. So let's do this properly without rushing, but with a bit of haste to it. I think that is a decent chunk of room. Time to get to work. This is the current state of the truck right now, because I am doing this project. So this should be changing pretty soon. This is the battery I just charged up. These are the original batteries that I've had connected this whole time. That is the battery that I charged up the other day. So they're the 4 batteries that I have. My batteries right now are... Here's the voltages of my batteries. I don't know whether you can see that. Number 1 is 29.8. Number 2 is 29.3. Number 3 is 29.9. And number 4 is between 30 and 29.9. So all of them are fine apart from number 2. 29.3, I believe, is that is too large of a gap between the batteries. What ultimately we're looking to do to equalize them is have them all within 0.1 volts of each other. Any more than that, and there can be sparks and power can rush in to the lowest battery, etc. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take number 2 back. I'm going to charge it up more to see if I just maybe took it off a little bit early. They are all the same brand battery, and they all should technically have the same 100% charge. I'm going to take it back later. I'm going to put it on charge for longer, and I'm going to try and get it closer to that 29.9. If they're all at 29.9, then it's going to be very easy for me to connect them all to each other in parallel, and with it, no problems, no sparks, etc. So that is what I'm looking to do to equalize it. In the meantime, this is my current power setup that is being partially dismantled. In order to accommodate the batteries being over here. Here is my inverter that is going to be on a shelf from now on. The shelf is going to be approximately here. But before I put the inverter upwards, I need to cut the hole for shore power. So for shore power, this is what I have. Here is the inlet. It's a 30 amp plug. If you don't know what shore power is power from the outside in. It's AC power. And I'm wanting to put it, basically, I want to put it here. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow me to park at campground or even outside a house and be able to put in electricity into here to go into my inverter to charge my batteries, etc. Or even just to use the power directly. So for my shore power, I need this hole saw to attach to my drill. This drill bit, which basically allows you to put it on your drill, and my drill. I'm going to drill a hole to allow this to come through, and allows that to come through the wall. and allows me to connect into the power. So the most important thing is getting the hole done and this bit screwed in. I am so hot, and I apologize because my entire body is literally just like glistening. That's how hot it gets in here. It really is an absolute oven. So if you've seen my videos on the air conditioning sort of situation, this is what happens when I don't have air conditioning. And obviously I can't have my air conditioning on right now because I'm rejigging my power, so I can't have anything connected to the power. Whew. Okay, so let's drill a hole. Let's drill a hole. I'm wanting it approximately here. So I'm just going to put a little pan hole right in the middle there. And then I'm going to do the thing that I don't know one van lifer that likes putting a hole in their van. I'm definitely one of those people. I hate it, but sometimes it's necessary. Okay. Man, I don't like it. Okay, fuck it. I can see it. I can see the space. Let's take a look. There it is. You can see in comparison to the fuel line. There it is. And this is, okay, that's fine. That's the center of where it's going to be in relation to everything else. You can see that. It's not the lowest. It would be better lower, but that's the bottom of the cabinet. So that's where we're going to go. That is where we are going to go. Tell you what, it's cooler outside. There's some wind and everything. It's great. Okay, so I think doing it from the outside in is to keep the hole neat and make sure that you don't get all the chipping and stuff on the outside. So that's why I think it's the outside in is the right way to do it. Thinking through it. So I'm not going to deviate from that, but I am so nervous. So I'm just going to get it over and done with right now. Oh my god. This is the insulation. Oh, I still need to hold on. There it is. That is literally the inside of my truck. Okay, so now is the big test. That yes, it does fit. Perfect. And okay, that looks pretty good actually. Pretty happy with that. Now what I actually need to do is I have 10 gauge wire here, and I already have some terminals on, but I mean these are terrible, and I been wanting to redo these anyway. So I'm going to create now the 3 main terminals here to connect into this piece. I'm going to make them. Then I'm going to feed it through from the inside to the outside, and then I'm going to connect it up so that then I can then put this on and it's already been connected, rather than trying to connect it while it's still in, if that makes sense. So I actually just bought a new crimping tool that I'm not used to yet, and ferrule terminals that have the holy bit in them. So let's create some terminals. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to feed this through here. There we go. Ready. Now I'm going to, let me move this up a little bit. Now I'm going to connect this to this, which is simply
putting the green one is now. It felt like it was going to go further in. No, okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Green is in. Okay, that feels tight to me. And then I'm just going to screw straight in. That to me feels good. So happy. And I just need to connect it to the other side, and I think that's pretty much it. I get suspicious when things go well. I get very suspicious. Very suspicious. As long as it's not a gaping hole, that's one good step. This is what it currently looks like on the inside, which is obviously not what we want. I can see some light coming through. I think that's just through the plastic though. I don't like seeing light from the outside. That freaks me out, so I'm gonna need to do something about that. I think that this has been put in wrong. I think this has been put in wrong. I think I need to unscrew it. And I need to put the whole thing... I think it's been put in wrong. Fuck. So I think that is the way that it's done now. That has less flex than before. So putting that inner bracket in first before you put it through, I obviously had to widen the hole just ever so slightly in order to get that whole thing through. But now this actually feels, in hindsight, more solid. And we'll look at the other side now. You can see that it's definitely meant to be this way, I think. The good thing with this now is that the cables are clamped in, but they're clamped in on this side. So in order to pull them loose, you'd have to remove this in order to pull them loose again, if that makes sense. So that this inner bracket is definitely meant to be inside. So I hate this. Let's take a look inside. Now I can see that there's no light bleed coming through, which is obviously a good thing. And this cable, I just need to double tighten these screws here. That means that those cables are like fully clamped in, so any movement on them is not going to pull those cables out from there. So this I definitely think is the way to do it. And yeah, now I have shore power. So what I've got to do now is I've just got to create the ends to this ready to go inside, which I'll show you. The end of this cable goes into the here on my inverter, the AC in, that go through here and into here. So I just need to create the ends for them, and then I can plug them into the inverter and I'll have shore power. I told you that it wasn't going to go straight forward, even though it seemed like it was very straightforward. I told you that it was not going to be straightforward. I'm still nervous about having a hole on the side of my truck. I hate it. I hate it, especially when it comes to water. Man, I hate it. But I have shore power now. I have shore power now. That's all we need to know. So I'm going to vacuum up now. I'm still not ready to put my inverter in yet, because there's a couple more things that I want to do. Then I'm going to take my battery back with me and get that charged up. That
final battery, get that into, make sure it's 1000% charged. Then I will be back here tomorrow to connect the batteries and continue on with this mission. So, for now, I'm clocking out. The thing that I've done just before I clock out for the day is I put my inverter on this shelf here. So originally my inverter was in this closet, which it actually used up a lot of space. There's a lot of space in there, I don't know if you can see. It's like 2 foot back, and that was where my inverter was, and there was power cables going underneath my desk, which I didn't like. Now that the batteries have gone from here and are going to be in under the sofa, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the inverter back in here. I'm going to store my Bluetti, and maybe I'll get a second one underneath here, and keep my inverter in this closet. So this basically frees more space, because that's taking up some space with the batteries, but this frees more space. It means the cable run is shorter. So basically all the cables are going to be shorter. One thing that also helps is for the fact that now I have just clear access to all of the ins and outs. Before it was so difficult because I had to sort of get on my side and all this sort of stuff, whereas now I can clearly see everything that's labeled here, and I have just more access to plug cables in and out on here. I just have more access with the inverter being this way as well. So it was somebody on a Facebook group, I think it's actually Sauron Dave, who is, I believe, friends with Nomad Brad. Sauron Dave actually showed that he was putting his inverter charger on its side. He said he had no problems with it. So this is the way that I'm choosing to do it as well. But yeah, it definitely gives a lot easier access here to be able to get into the cables, compared to it hanging down on this side and, you know, having to go all the way down here and all that jazz. So everything, all the power stuff is going to be in here as originally planned, which keeps everything together in one place and gives me more free space. This I want to be drawers. Just having drawers holding pens, pencils, etc. And that's very close to the entrance as well. Yeah, it's not the tidiest, but it is functional and it will be safe as well. And I can finally start thinking about putting some bloody doors on this as well, which is going to make me so happy. So yeah, just want to do that before I clock out for the day. So now, for now, I'm clocking out.